VimBiz, true integration of scheduling, rentals, and engineering. Thank you for joining us live at NAB in Las Vegas. Equipment Rental, presented by Tom Levesque and Michelle McAllister.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to the millions of people watching us online on YouTube. So my name, first of all, you're at the VimBiz booth here live from Las Vegas, Nevada at the NAB show. And my name is Alain Arsenault. So I'm new to the company, but my career spans 30 years working in the broadcasting industry for my country's public broadcaster, CBC Radio-Canada in Canada. My home base was on the east coast of the province of New Brunswick, working at a regional station. So I had the opportunity to work in production as an assistant and later as a producer-director on many different shows in news, sports, variety, a job that took me to the Torino Olympics in 2006, which was quite the experience, to the Ivory Coast in Africa, another excellent experience, Louisiana, and from the Pacific to the Atlantic Oceans in Canada. So how does this relate to rentals, you ask? Well, on most of these productions I've worked on, we've dealt with renting equipment, so I've seen it from the inside and outside. I had to shop material myself for a sketch comedy show that we did for a couple of years, and at the time we didn't have that material at our home base in Moncton, so we went shopping at the CBC building in Montreal. But they had millions of pieces of furniture and whatnot to do sketch comedy, but nothing was cataloged, or almost nothing. So we had to go in there and pretty much look at shelves and upon shelves of material to get what we needed. So over a week, and that's what we did, loaded a 5-ton truck, drove it back to East Coast, 621 American miles, 1,000 kilometers. So I'm saying all this because had there been a catalog, we could have looked at that inventory and checked it out beforehand, and it would have been a lot quicker. So I'm saving money also. So as a broadcaster in business, all these assets can be rented and to outside production companies. And to tell us about the importance of seizing control of your assets, their availability, knowing what is used and not used, and renting them, making money off of them. So to explain and demonstrate how all these challenges are met head-on and solved with VimBiz, here is Tom and Michelle.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Alain, and thanks for sharing a little bit of your experience living it. There's nothing like it. You know the pain, and you know why VimBiz is the ideal solution to relieve those pains, right? So we're going to be focusing on the logistics of equipment assets mainly today, but know that VimBiz is a suite of integrated solutions that cover different areas of your operation. Starting with engineering, we have the ability to manage the entire life cycle of your assets. We'll talk about assets quite a bit today in today's demo because what you check out for your productions are mainly composed of assets, whether they're kits or the asset itself. We'll see how that's managed. VimBiz also has a very powerful scheduling solution, which has been covered in other demonstrations. If you've missed it, they're all online on our YouTube channel, so I invite you guys to tune in and watch what we've presented already. So when we talk about the rentals operation, a very, very complex part of the broadcasting operation, there's a lot of demand coming from several different production projects requesting equipment. We're going to cover everything from the management of your inventory of barcoded and non-barcoded equipment. We're going to talk about replenishing stock rooms with the purchasing module, or using the purchasing module for external rentals. Some of our customers also deal with external customers, so quoting and invoicing become extremely important to them. And having a clear view at all time of what's available within your rental center is key, and we'll talk about that too. Some of these rentals are huge in terms of amount of items that gets shipped, even internationally. So many of our customers will manage the shipments and the shipping company that they deal with, and it's all tied to that rental booking that you manage in VimBiz. we're proud to be used in 10 different countries. So VimBiz is used by national broadcasters, which typically selected us through public tenders. Many of them selected VimBiz for scheduling and time cards, but later on decided to expand their use of VimBiz and implemented rentals and asset management and even service management. More recently, we've been selected as the best schedule alternative at TFO in Ontario and Lasset in Italy. Many of our customers selected VimBiz through a public tender as well for specifically the logistics of their equipment. It's the case with Globo in Brazil and RTBF in in Belgium. Dome Production, same thing in Canada. They started the implementation of VimBiz on the engineering side of their operation. Later on, they implemented rentals, and more recently, they selected VimBiz for all their scheduling needs. So without further ado, I'd like to go directly in the software, and please keep your questions for the end. We have a tight schedule. The very first thing I want to talk about is inventory. Of course, what you manage, what you check out and you check in. So as you're using VimBiz, you'll be able to manage your inventory of barcoded assets. Barcoded assets will have a physical home, if you will. VimBiz supports regions, so you can have equipment in several different regions throughout your country. Each of your region will have physical buildings. A building can be broken down in logical area, and areas will contain your rooms. If you want more granularity in terms of where the assets are within your rental center, you can create racks and shelves within your rooms. Now, this is very important for, let's say, onboarding of new employee in your warehouse. They don't need to memorize where equipment is. It's all cataloged in VimBiz, and they can find the asset very quickly just by looking at where they are physically in the database. Now, the other type of stockroom inventory items, that you'll manage will be stockroom items. Not barcoded, however, very important to know at all time how many you have in stock, what's your minimum threshold. So if you rent out consumables, for example, and you go below that threshold, you'll be notified that you have to replenish that stockroom. That's where the purchasing module can be used to place an order for that product, and upon reception, you're basically replenishing the in-stock quantities of that product. Some of these products are rentable, and therefore, when they're checked out, well, you expect them to come back in, right? The last part of type of inventory that you'll manage, and I'm sure you'll have kits, or I'm sure you have already, and kits can be managed and basically are a combination of products and assets. Now, this particular kit here, for example, is flagged as incomplete because we have the ability of pre-configuring a minimum kit content, which allows me to quickly see that probably at one point we really needed a tripod. We took it out of that kit, checked that out individually, making the kit incomplete, but it's still usable. I mean, camera's still there, so you can still film, right? If you're okay to go ahead on a shoot without a tripod, you can certainly go ahead and do so. Okay. I'm going to start with the very first thing that may occur in your rentals workflow, and that is the request of equipment. So we offer this rental request feature, allowing a user to basically create a new rental request, specify when the equipment will be picked up, when it will be returned. Perhaps you want to specify for which production project this is for. And this is key, actually. It should be done because most of our customers will track the value of the equipment that they are renting internally, and therefore by selecting a project, the production itself, it will also track it will also inherit the cost center that's linked to that production, so you can keep track of those costs. Next step here for my user Adriana is that she's going to request some products. She's going to add some lights. Let's say she needs 3 of these. And why don't we also request a kit? So we're going to request a kit type, and I should be ready to submit this request. So upon the submission of a rental request just like this, the rentals manager or the equipment manager working at the rental center will receive an email notification, and the logical next step is to manage that request. So if I go in my request here, manage rental request, I will see this rental request that just came in. Earlier today, we showed the business requirements module in VimBiz, and it has the same effect, right? Like the idea of business requirements in VimBiz is that you put together all the requirements you think you'll need for your productions in terms of production areas like your TV studios, OB trucks and whatnot, your people, right? You need cameramen, audio man, etc. But what else? Equipment, right? Your production area, for example, a TV studio, can be inventoried with bookable assets. So that we compare what's required, what's in the requirements list, and what's available in that production area, like TV studio, and what we can satisfy of the requirement. We basically check off or put a check mark next to that equipment. The delta, you've guessed it, the delta can become a rental request, and the rentals managers are responsible to satisfy that part of the requirement. Okay, so from here, if I go ahead and I verify conveniently, VimBiz tells me how many items I have available in my stock room, in my inventory, and I see that the quantity requested is 3, I have 8, everything is perfect, I verify this. Same thing for kit types. Conveniently, I see that 1 is requested, I have 9 of them available, so I can definitely proceed with the creation of a rental for that kit. So me creating a rental at this point, I have an interim step here that's interesting. When the product that's requested, let's say an HD camera, I have several different type of products that satisfies that requirement. Like maybe I have a Panasonic HD camera, maybe I have Sony, etc., etc. So the equipment manager has the ability to say, for that request, I'm going to satisfy it with that kit type or that asset. In my example here, I kept it very simple, so I didn't really go in that complexity, but this is definitely something that we allow our users to do. Perfect time for a drink of water. So because the request came from a user that populated key information like the project, and obviously here I see her name, a lot of this information is already in the rental, so conveniently I don't have to re-enter that information. I have the checkout date and time and the check-in date and time that the user also kindly selected, and of course I have the equipment that Ariana requested. In this case, she requested 3 lights and she requested a camera kit. Now, Ariana would have received an email with that ID, 1830. Remember that number, sir. So 1830 is a unique identifier allowing Ariana to go to the rental center, say, hey, I'm here for the equipment and I would like to check it out. What's your number, Ariana? 1830. You're Ariana now, I'm sorry. Okay, so you gave me 1830. That's the unique identifier of your booking. Entering it there allows me to quickly find that booking for you, and then I can go in the warehouse and I see that I need to grab some lights and I need to grab a kit. Now, am I really going to go in the warehouse and try to find cam set 3, you think? Would that be efficient? Remember, I have 10 of them. Okay, no. So let's simulate that I scan a different one. I'll scan cam set 10. It doesn't matter at this point which kit goes out, which light goes out. Think about it. What matters is that you have a camera kit that goes out and you have a 1200 watt lights that go out, right? So users will go in the warehouse and pick what they see available on the shelf. Same thing with lights, right? I'm going to quickly verify them manually, but if I would scan different lights than those ones, no problem. VimBiz will do the swap. The important thing is that you know which one goes out because you expect it to come back. Right? And that is done, that is achieved by scanning the barcode of that asset. Some of our users actually use RFID tags instead. And especially when it's difficult to get to the barcode of the asset. Think of having assets in a drawer in a mobile truck, for example. This is the case with Global in Brazil. Like when a truck comes back and they want to scan what returns with it, they just open the drawer and waver a gun over it, and it reads the barcodes through RFID technology. And it allows them to save a lot of time. Same thing with, we call them these Voyager kits or whatever. So when you go to a remote production in the middle of nowhere, you certainly don't have a Radio Shack around the corner where you can run to and buy a piece that you forgot to bring with you, right? So every piece in the kit is as important as the other. a camera that's worth 20 grand is not more important than a cable that worth $10 if you need the cable to operate the camera. That's the idea. So they tag each item in the kit, and they basically waver a gun over the kit. They open the kit. They make sure all the items that should be in there is indeed in there. The time it saves them is immense. Okay? All right. The checkout that I performed, I could also have done it on my smartphone, right? So I'm going to simulate the check-in of that gear that we've checked out together just to show you what that looks like, because when I perform a check-in in the app, it looks pretty much identical to the checkout. You're scanning what you're returning, right? So if I simulate that CamSet 10, I scan it, it comes on my screen. This kit was configured such that after I scan the kit, I must also, hey sir, welcome. I also need to do a double verification of what's in that kit. In this case, my camera and my tripod. So we do this for different reasons. Well, first of all, to ensure that what was in the kit when you checked it out returns, right? It's still there. But also, if one of these pieces come back and it's damaged, I mean, accident happens, right? So if something is returned and is damaged, well, you scan it and you create a service request, you send it to your engineering team. And you can actually, from a check-in, say, hey, this piece of equipment returned damage. I'm going to not only create a service request, but I'm going to book it for, let's say, 1 week, where it's not going to be available while it's being repaired by my team of engineers. And all this that I'm explaining is basically an example of us offering solutions that are all integrated one with another. So if you want to not only implement our rentals module, but also want to implement our service module, take care of repair and maintenance, that's the type of advantage that you would benefit from, right? Okay. Now let's talk about something a bit more visual, a way to book equipment a bit more visually. But wait a minute, I have some activity over there. Before I do that, yes, Michelle?
Sorry, Tom.
Can I help you?
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask if you can help me out.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a shoot and I realized that we're actually a camera short. So I wanted to
You're
know if you
one camera short?
Yeah. Would you be able to help me schedule a
So you
next
didn't
one?
plan it?
No.
You didn't request it either?
No. Everything else was
All
planned
right.
except for that.
Okay. Hey, it happens. Well, thankfully for you, I have what I call an instant rental checkout form. So your name is Michelle, right?
That is correct. Michelle McAllister.
Okay. And what's the production for?
Raiders of the Lost Asset.
Yeah, that figures. Okay. One more camera. All right. I get this camera for you. Beautiful HD cam. Take good care of it. Wait a minute. Are you the user that dropped the camera last time you used it?
I knew you were going to bring that
And
up.
you created service request 336?
That is correct, yes.
All right. Well, thankfully, you created that service request because it allowed me to know that there's possibly a problem with that camera. And before I check it out and I give it to you, I could go check the service and see where it's at. Okay, yeah, it's been repaired. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
They just forgot to close the service request.
Okay.
There you go.
I appreciate
it's
your
like
help.
It's like brand new.
Thank you
Don't
so much.
drop it again. So this happens all the time, right? You're working in a rental operation like this, and in an ideal world, everything is planned ahead of time and you never run out. But we work in the broadcasting industry. It's a complex operation. We always forget things, right, Michelle? We always forget gear. We didn't request. We didn't plan enough. And unplanned visits like that will occur. But that's okay. In the rental equipment schedule, I can benefit from the categorization of my products to quickly see my assets when they are booked and when they become available. I have some red cameras here. Basically, it's to warn me that these are late being checked in, so I could call the person. In fact, we have a centralized distribution engine for email notification and SMS notification. And one of my customers in Denmark, the national broadcaster, the Danish Broadcasting Corporation, their request was if a check-in is late, by, let's say, more than 6 hours, can we send automatically an email to the responsible that was supposed to return the equipment? So we created that rule, and that's what happened. A nice, political, friendly message. After a day of it being late, I want to send a second reminder, a bit more serious, so a different message. After 2 days being late, it's a serious message. You're going to be responsible for what the equipment's value is and whatnot. So we did that for them. So the rules engine allows you to create various different rules, and depending on how late the rental is, you can send different messages to your users. So it's helped them a lot minimize the amount of rentals that are late. The creation of a rental, here it's a lot more visual. So let's say I need a kit and I want a kit from Saturday to Friday of next week or the week after. I just draw an event. Here I would have to manually put the name of the person responsible for that rental. So that person receives an email with their booking, the production that it is for, and the rest would be the same. Now I already have the kit that I drew an event on, but I could add assets or stockroom products or et cetera, and save the rental. Whenever you create rentals like that, really what you're doing, you're creating work orders for your warehouse people. So people will work in this form and see that when their customers is supposed to come in the rental house to pick up their gear, and when they come, well, they open up the checkout, they see what they need to go fetch from the warehouse, scan it, and check it out. It's basically how it works. Okay. I pretty much covered everything except this one more thing. It's actually a form that we developed specifically for one of our customers. I would say the most advanced use of our rentals module is done by the RTBF in Belgium. RTBF is a small country, and they have 4 distribution centers in major cities. And why it's so complex is because they want to, their goal is to maximize the use of all their equipment at all times. So if they don't have enough equipment in one rental center, they will satisfy it by creating a transfer from another rental center. So we designed this form, which basically they cannot live without, because every day, and they look into a week or so in the future, and they try to detect these issues right here. Me seeing orange basically means I got a warning here. I need to do something about that. Why is it orange? Because my 6,000 watts lights, starting on the 22nd in my Las Vegas rental center, I got a red warning down there. I don't have enough. I don't have enough in my inventory, so when comes time for the production, if I don't find a solution, well, I got some problems. Thankfully, and that's why the color at the top is orange, because yes, it's a warning, but it can be solved. The solution is you plan what we call a transfer type rental, right? So you will transfer lights from Boston into Las Vegas. So normally what would happen, the rentals manager working in Las Vegas would probably call his colleague in Boston and say, hey, can you transfer me some lights, please? Boston is a good guy, so he's going to say, yeah, no problem. So I'm going to create a transfer type rental. Maybe I want to put a little title here, transfer of lights. And I'm going to add a product from my catalog. The problem to solve is for the 22nd. So I want to make sure that my lights are there ahead of time. I'll check everything out in the morning of the 19th. Did I say Belgium was a small country? Yeah. So by the end of the day, they'll be there. So they save out. So check out in the morning, check in at night, and I need 6,000 watts lights. Yes, I have 8 in my inventory. I want to keep at least 1, so I'm going to send them 7. So me doing this and just saving out, well, guess what? I've solved the problem. Right, I took care of the fire. So starting, and you can see here clearly at the bottom, the checkout is on the 19th. Therefore, I went from 8 to 1 because I'm checking out 7, and I'm going to be 1 for as long as I transfer lights back there. But in Vegas, I'm good now, and I've solved my problem. Okay, enough of software. Let's have a little fireside chat with my friend, Michelle McAllister. Michelle is one of our product success specialists.
Thank you so much for having me.
have a quick chat with Michelle is to cover a very important topic, implementing an enterprise software like VimBiz. Obviously, the implementation is crucial to the success of a project, but once you go live, it's equally as important to offer proper support and help to your customer. So, what is it like to work with a PSS team at VimSoft?
I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's pretty good to work with us. The good thing about having us as a software is that you're working with a team of dedicated experts. You're not working with third-party workers. We also have a customer portal, which we call our Sarah portal, which is very interactive. We always encourage our customers to be able to log issues on that portal, or any questions, anything. And we're very interactive. We'll respond right away. Third thing is we train. We can offer training in person, but most often to save time and money, we offer Teams training, which is, when you're looking at your budget, it helps a lot. And then lastly, we listen. We've been in business for 20 years, so we've been listening to our customers' feedback for a long time. So we are evolving with the industry and we're evolving with our customers.
So that customer request portal you referred to, so if I understand right, it's not only to log issues.
No, not at all. Like I said, we can log issues. However, if you have a question, just a simple general question, you can log it on there and we'll be, again, it's very interactive, so we'll reply right away. Or if you see something that you don't have on there, you can ask for an enhancement and we'll actually take a look at it, see if it's something that we can do for you.
So VimBiz evolves with ideas of our customers and our own ideas, I hope, right?
Yeah.
That's good. How many releases do you have per year?
We have at least one major release every year, and then we sometimes have interim releases where needed. But let's say in the meantime, in between those interim releases, if you require something like a report and you don't see it and we are creating it for you, we can actually send you the XLS file and you can import it, or we can import it for you.
Okay, great. I'm not technical, but we're using Crystal Report. I think it's an RPT
Yep, Crystal
file.
Report. Thank you. I forgot to mention that.
Okay, that's okay, yeah. Excel files are also used to import data into VimBiz, however. See how technical I am, Michelle?
Yeah.
See, maybe I should be a PSS guy too. Yeah, not a sales guy. Those sales guys, I'm telling you, what do they know, right? Okay, no, that's great. All right, so what would you say? I mean, we had a great demo here, great show. This is our last demo, by the way, of the week. So
And thanks
we're
for
very
joining us, by the way. I
happy
appreciate
about that. So any final word, Michelle?
Working with us is great, and I'm a little biased, and I know that there's a cliche with Canadians, but we really do care. Like, we genuinely care about our customers. We want to make sure that they succeed. And then lastly, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you, Michelle. Well said. So thank you all, and people online watching us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, applause. There we go. People clap.